Hi everybody, this is the Baseball High, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host on, and this is another episode of the Insane Asylum and the return of the Insane Asylum after a long break known as WFAN.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha, they're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha, to the funny part.
Now welcome back to the Baseball Hut 2, where I have not done a video on WFAN because they've been very quiet, really for the last few months. We know that the Mets got off to an okay start in April. They had a terrible month of May, and they turned it around, had a great month of June, and they won the first game in July. Now, all off season, the Mets made it very clear they weren't going to spend a lot of money because they felt they had to get all these contracts off the payroll after this season. And Mets general manager, president of baseball operations, David Stern, said that he wasn't going to spend a lot of money. Mets ownership said they weren't going to spend a lot of money. So that whole winter, WFAN is the so-called legendary radio talk show station, sports talk, did nothing but hammer the Mets all off-season long. It's been their purpose to keep this mantra going that the Mets are going to Mets, LOL Mets. Whatever the Mets do is wrong, and when they do it right, it's still wrong. Now, all off-season, said the Mets, let's give them a chance. Let's see what this group has. They have a new manager, they have a new president of baseball operations. You know, a guy that knows how to build a winning team. We saw that in Milwaukee. They complained that he was from Milwaukee, David Stearns. 4 days into having the job with the Mets, Greg Giannotti, the morning guy, said that the Mets should fire David Stearns based on WFAN's assertion that Pete Alonso is a cancer in the Met clubhouse and that Met fans will have a riot. Who I would mention about Greg Giannotti, he likes to pretend that he knows what's going on in the minds of other people. He doesn't know what's going on in his mind, but he always pretends to know what's going on in other people's minds. And of course, we have the Spaz and the Coconut that come on after. That's Brandon Tierney and Sal Licata. You can figure out which is a Coconut, which is a Spaz. I call Spaz Sal Licata. But the point being, they've been hammering Pete Alonso. They've been hammering the Mets all offseason. They were very quiet in April. Every little thing the Mets did, no matter any kind of move, any small move, big move, was one pissy complaint after another. I said, let's be patient. Let's give this guy a chance. That's David Stearns. They complained about Carlos Mendoza being a cast-off from the Yankees. They complained about Harrison Bader being a cast-off from the Yankees. Now, I would mention, in May, they wanted to get rid of everybody because the team was playing poorly. I was very down on the team. I was like, guys, start moving some of these players because it didn't look like it was working. They had a team meeting. They cleared the air with each other. It seems that clearing of the air basically helped this club. And they played so much better. But you still see some of this stupidity going on at WFAN. They still talk about trading Pete Alonso. They pretend like June didn't happen. And one of these clowns, and one of these outpatients, one of the board ops, he's a bit of a lightweight. He's a proverbial lightweight. He's not a figurative lightweight. Because if you ever see a picture of him, and here we have a picture of him here, he's always pictures of him eating food all the time. He was actually seen on the air during the Tiki and Evan show, choking on a chicken cutlet sandwich. I'm not joking. It happened. Well, he had one of the weirdest takes about the Mets. And the Mets are 500 teams that recorded this video. They worked very hard. They were 11 games under 500 at the beginning of June, and they worked their asses off to get back to 500, and they played really hard. They played smart. They're hitting like crazy. They're struggling to keep the bullpen together until they get some reinforcements, but they're doing their best to play well. They're in the middle of the wild card race. There's 3 wild cards now. It's not 1, it's not 2, it's 3. But Sean Marash, who is a lightweight, had this taken. This is from Odyssey.com. Now, Odyssey, I would mention, they don't post so many of these things anymore because they know that your host will read some of this, and I don't have to play any clips here and worry about my channel getting a copyright strike. All I gotta do is read this, but they've not been posting so much because they know that my eyes are always on them, always ready to pounce on them. I mean, ready to talk about it. I mean, ready to talk about them. No, I had it right. Pounce on them. Gotta be fair. They haven't been fair to the Mets ever in 35 years. It is their mantra to go after everything the Mets do, good, bad, or indifferent. You do it right, complain about it. Do it wrong, complain about it. But here we have a headline from Odyssey. Mares, time is now for Mets to trade JD Martinez. What? JD Martinez has been really the best Mets hitter since the beginning of June. He's 36 years old. He did not play Tuesday because he had a sore ankle. But this is a guy that has been a borderline Hall of Famer. I was thinking about it today. He's better than Harold Baines. Harold Baines was a Hall of Fame. Harold Baines was a compiler. He never won a batting title, JD Martinez, but he's a great RBI man at that DH spot. He is not comparable to Edgar Martinez. He's obviously not comparable to the steroid user, David Ortiz. I would mention about David Ortiz. He did fail a steroid test. So me saying that is not terrible. It's true. But Martinez has been a very good RBI man for a long time, and he's a borderline Hall of Famer. I've been saying for 3 years, 4 seasons, that the Mets need to bring in another hitter that of his caliber on the same level, if not higher, than Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor to help this lineup out, to lengthen it, and having a really good elite, and he's an elite hitter, Now, Sean Mares, who is by the way, a Yankee fan, wants the Mets to trade him. So let me read you this. After the Mets grabbed another win on Monday night to get back to 500, Mares opened Tuesday's show with a declaration about the trade deadline. Okay, well, let's see what this potato has to say. The Spud says the Mets need to move one of their best bats. Now is the time to strike with trading JD Martinez, the Spud said. We got the Spaz and the Spud. Oh, Spud's just another name for a potato. Last night was a really fun win from a Yankee fan. There are obviously positives to take out of it, but why did they almost lose this game? It's because the bullpen is an unmitigated disaster. He's on a one-year deal. He's not part of the long-term picture of this team. I now trust with the emergence of Vientos and Alvarez being healthy that the Mets have the depth to build for the future while still competing. I like to see them play well other than a month. Vientos was up and down up until about a month ago. He's not proven it enough for me. I mean, I think he's been terrific. I like his swing. And same thing with Francisco Alvarez. Why are you putting all this pressure on 2 young players? And they're still young players. Martinez has a robust 147 OPS on the season, and his returns coincide with the New York's hot streak. But the Spud says the Mets have enough bats to stay in the race thanks to a healthy Francisco Alvarez, a more comfortable Mark Vientos, and a thriving Francisco Lindor after a brutal start to the season. Still, they likely don't have enough to truly contend for a title because of their bullpen struggles, which the potato isn't convinced they can address at the deadline. So why not trade a rental to the further bolster the farm system and look to the future? This guy says dope. Every team in Major League Baseball needs bullpen help, the Spud said. The idea the Mets are going to get 2 arms out of this and outmaneuver these other teams, I'm really skeptical. Well, it's because you're an idiot. A conspiracy theory idiot. He's just wanting people to watch his show and listen to his program. And he says something really ridiculous. You will get nothing for JD Martinez. He's 36 years old and he's a designated hitter. It's not a premium position. And the Mets have deferred money on him. They will not have to spend any money on him. You play him out. He's probably going to drive 100 runs. and he didn't play the first month or so. He is a great hitter. You keep him here. And he makes this entire lineup better or worse. You trade him, it sends a bad message to your entire franchise by moving him. You dingleberry. You dope. You potato. And this is another episode of the Insane Asylum known as WFAN. Subscribe.
They're coming to take me away, ha ha. They're coming to take me away, ho ho, hee hee, ha ha. To the funny fun.